Morena, Gemma G and her PhD socks. Hold on, I've always got notes. I'll give you a second to jump on anyway. It's Queen's birthday holiday day here in New Zealand, so happy holidays to those who are normally at work. So a little conscious chatter today. By the way, it's a very cold, wet day here in Auckland. I don't know where the rest of y'all are. Hopefully the weather's better than here. So I'm all wrapped up in a lovely scarf actually that was hand spun, hand knitted, and hand dyed as well by a crafter just outside of Reefton. So it's keeping me warm. So there's a little bit of chat today around spirituality, consciousness, and chakras, and how can you know what chakra is blocked. And well, I'm not going to go into what you can do about it into great lengths, but hopefully you'll find some of this information interesting. So what I'm going to share with you is adapted from a children's version of understanding chakras. And there's actually a really cool little, I think it was a Nickelodeon clip as well, so you can find that. So it's cute. So I've borrowed the information and felt that I'll share. So why share? Well, at the moment, it seems so many people are looking for and searching for their purpose, right? And, you know, there's got to be more to this existence than this 3D reality that we seem to be or get stuck and trapped in, and then end up chasing tails and burning out. Happened to me. And then you start to realize that you've got to be here for a bigger purpose. So I often ask people, what is your mission? That's the bigger than you mission, the bigger than you just surviving mission. What is that mission? And often we're so sucked into this rat race that we're not ever really answering that truthfully. And then even if we have a spiel that we can rattle off, it's often one that we think we should be doing and not always our true soul's purpose. So the moment your soul decided to show up in this realm, there were contracts that were entered into. There were experiences that you had agreed to or requested to experience, and from that then we evolve and we become stronger beings. So if you're stuck in the rut at the moment, and Lord knows that what's going on currently globally and of course galactically is really setting a lot of people into a spin. So hopefully you'll find some answers here. So spirituality is the consciousness of victory over self and of communion with the infinite, the realm, the electromagnetic field that we are immersed into. That's a whole other story, so I'm not going to keep track, Jim, and keep track. And spirituality is actually an inherent biological need. It is in our DNA. Remember, our DNA is a bioacoustic and biophotonic antenna. It sends and receives, and from the information that it receives, it therefore then releases codes. And that's how our body knows exactly what to do, not just from a physiological perspective, but when you learn to trust it, then it can guide you through life. And it's our spirit, it's our personal power, and it's our energy, and it's all one, and it's the same force. So there are 7 sacred truths that instruct us in how to direct the power or the life force, the chi, the energy, the prana that runs through our systems. And we embody these truths within our 7 power centers. So you have the 7 chakra systems, or energy wheels, shall we say, however you would like to describe them. And they are recording absolutely every experience that you are having in this realm as a human being. And it manifests when they're blocked or they're overactive or energy's not running freely through your biofield, then it manifests physically as illness and dis-ease. So energy duplicates divine power, and our bodies contain the imminent blueprint for healing. So from a restorative purpose, there and we do know, and it's well documented, these miraculous remissions and restorations of dis-ease that the Newtonians world of Western medicine will say there's no cure, there's nothing else we can do for you. Well, good news is that there are blessings within that, because we hold the power, and don't let anybody tell you any different. We hold the power to self-restore from anything, and the power is in this DNA, in these blueprints that we inherently have. So being able to tap and connect into the field and in through consciousness, that is where the secrets are. So again, another talk. So let's stay on point here. So the human energy system embodies these 7 truths, and energy, spirit language crosses most belief systems. We'll come back to that one. So remember how important belief systems are, and to actually evaluate your beliefs, and are they yours, or are they ones that have been patterned or inherently passed down to you? Because if they're not yours, then that inner conflict is also going to create chaos within your system. So let's talk about if we want to heal our soul, heal our spirit, and heal our hearts. So why heal your hearts? Well, when we get to the heart chakra, that'll make a little more sense to you. All human stress corresponds to a spiritual crisis. Let me say that again. All human stress correlates to a spiritual crisis, and all physical stress is generally manifested from emotional traumas. And again, how we become more enlightened, how we develop, we grow as beings, and how we ascend, which is another thing. If I'm not sure if anyone's heard of it before, but ascension symptoms. So when we get impacted by huge amounts of energy, then as your body works through that and works with that, then you'll manifest out physical symptoms. Might be headaches, might be flu-like symptoms, all of the things that we've been told our illness is, when in fact it's your body upgrading. It's you as a human being upgrading to a more enlightened being, shall we say. You're getting the junk out. You're de-junking your DNA. So why? So then you can connect with the fields more. Not my opinion. This is all founded on quantum physics, quantum biology, the most tested and true and tried science that we have and we know. So, so all human stress corresponds to a spiritual crisis is an opportunity for spiritual learning. It's opportunity for insight, as I said, enlightenment. And the only way of getting out of complete autopilot is to have enough energy to come out from that fog. First of all, you got to be aware you're in autopilot, that you are operating on subconscious programs 95% of the time. And if you're unaware of what those programs are, what those programmed beliefs, those programmed values are, then they're just sending out signals willy-nilly with, when you're not even paying attention, you're even completely unaware of what's going on. And that's, my friends, is where you can start then manifesting a reality that is beyond your wildest dreams. You have to overcome the programs. Be aware of them first, then learn to overcome them. So inside of use, misuse, or misdirection of your spirit and your personal power will also result in physical illness as well. And yes, be mindful of your power and choose well with your use of it as well. And that's another conversation that's worth having as well, around the abilities that we all inherently have. We have the abilities to see things that in different dimensions. We have the ability to see other beings as well. We have the ability to get insight into past and into present and into future, or present, of course, easy, into future. And I was asked that recently as well. I can see into the future, and it's a challenge for me is to discern what is real and what is not. But we all have these abilities, so but remember not to misuse it. So let's go on to we are participants in what we experience, right? So managing our power of choice is the divine challenge. And it begins on choosing what our thoughts are and what they will be and what our attitudes are. And as I mentioned before, when we're not consciously aware, we're not consciously paying attention, you will be running and generating out these programs that are all patterning, okay? So every thought that crosses your mind, every belief that we nurture and we entertain are so powerful. And think of it of like the audio script that is running through your mind. When you go into drift off into dreamland or whatever, or daydreaming, what are the stories that are crossing, that are running through? What's the script? What is that script? Because those thoughts, nothing travels faster in this realm than the speed of thought. Speed of light, we know, is incredibly fast, but the speed of thought is faster than that. And so any thought that you have is being emitted into the realm instantaneously. They measure this. They can read your thoughts. I've been tapping into telepathy recently, so if I've been springing to mind, maybe I've been trying to contact you. Just kidding. But just think about that. Every belief that we nurture, they talk about two wolves, good and evil. Which one wins the battle? Whichever one you feed wins the battle. And I know personally, I have to remind myself, hang on a second, these thoughts that are running through my head have got nothing to do with that other person nor the situation. They are an autopilot belief or program based on an experience that I've had before. So is it true? I have to ask myself that and ask through your heart space. So through the heart field, because that will know and help you to be able to discern. Lordy. So we're biological creations of divine design. We are basically biological manifestations of the universe. And if that doesn't make you feel special, I don't know what will. So ancient traditions and Eastern religions teach that the human body contains these 7 energy centers. All right, so back to the energy centers. And that's vertically aligned, and they run from the base of the spine right up through the center of the body to the crown of the head. Now, some of you are going to go, yep, we know that, and that's fantastic. But there are so many that are unaware of these chakra wheels, these power energy centers, and they make the vital body. I've talked about that recently. They make the vital body. It's where the meridians flow, the outflow of the energy through the meridians that the acupuncturists will use, and acupuncturists as well. And it's the energy flows or is blocked through these chakra wheels. And it's also how you connect out into the field, right? This is where all of your light source, your beacon, your soul frequency is contained. So, so these base of the spine to the crown of the head, it's basically we ascend towards divine energy, consciousness, shall we say. It's how we connect our Wi-Fi to your higher self, to the most perfect version of you. And by gradually mastering the flow of this energy, then we can actually master and get out of this 3D world where we get attached to things, where separation lives, where you don't feel good enough, where you never have enough, and unable to stay in the present moment. So if we can detach from that, we can then ascend into these states of bliss and have these magical experiences. So why wouldn't you want to? So at each stage that we overcome ourselves and we ascend, we gain a more refined understanding of personal and spiritual power. So you out there, you're goddesses and gods yourself. Sounds weird to say when you start speaking of yourself in a divine way. However, who is anyone to tell you you're not, right? The fact that you exist is a miracle. So step into that power and we can all experience a heaven on earth. And that is my mission. That is my mission. After, as many of us have been, tumbled, kicked to the curb, shit on, shamed, made to feel all of these things through some of the, just being human, just actually existing. After being there, that's not a nice place to be. It's because they want to hold people down. That's the way the system can maximize things from us. That's where it pulls out energy. It was where it can hold you down. Whereas the truth is that we all have the right, God-given right, to be as successful and as happy and experience abundance. And that's where we get heaven on earth. So join me in the Goddess Project, because that's what I'm working on at the moment. So in this chakra system, each energy center warehouses a particular power, and the chakras from 1, 2, and 3 are calibrated to the issues that engage us with the physical or the external power, and the chakras 4, 5, 6, and 7 are calibrated to the non-physical, what you cannot see. And if you've been following my work recently, in my journey of my PhD in integrative medicine, I've been speaking so much more about the fact that the power lies in the invisible, in which you cannot see. That's 96% of the space that we live in. So get manifesting out in there. regardless of what's happening in your immediate physical environment, because that's what holds you. That's what holds you, chains you down. That and all of those patterns and beliefs and things. All right, so here we go. Let's get into what are these chakras. So there's my little blurb into why would you want to know, and let's talk about them from a really basic, easy perspective to understand. So your root chakra is located in the base of the spine. All right, so it's your earth chakra, and it's deals with survival and is blocked by fear. Now, what a genius one to block, right? Because if you are blocking what the base power chakra that we have as human beings through fear, which is what is happening right now in the world, if you block that, you will throw all systems out of whack. So can you see the masterminding behind that one? So ask yourself, what are you most afraid of? And for some people, it's death. In fact, for a lot of people, it's death. Death is absolutely nothing to fear. I have said it before, kind of excited in not a morbid way, but in a sense of that it's a rebirth. And man, I can't wait to see where I pop up, what realm I pop up next in. Hopefully back from where I came from, because that is where 12D is. And that's a pretty cool place. So so ask yourself, what are you most afraid of? And let your fears be really clear to you. And then once you figure out what your fears are, like surrender them. Let them go. They hold no purpose whatsoever. And I'm gonna finish at the end, talk it once I go through all of these, and just talk about like the physical manifestations that happen through these energetic wheels being blocked. All right, so the sacral chakra is the second chakra, and it's your water chakra. It's in the pelvis, and it's really the creative center. And for women, it's powerful for both men and women, but females, goddesses, stand up, realize your power. Like, you have the creative force, you have the life force, right? And so learn to use that energy, not to be ashamed of our sexualities, not to be fearful or afraid of, same thing. But in the sacral chakra and through the reproductive areas, this is where our most powerful energy sits. So it deals with pleasure and healthy emotions in relationships. It is blocked by guilt. So ask yourself, look at anything, all the guilt that burdens you. And I'll just shout out to this wonderful organization. The Catholic Church is particularly good at guilt and guilting people. Another very, very, very cunning plan, because if you can instill guilt in people, you can block this creative center, and then you hold. It's another way of holding people down. So look at the guilt that burdens you and your soul, and then ask yourself, what are you blaming yourself for? For what is it that we blame ourselves for? And then accept the reality that whatever that is, it's already happened. So don't let it cloud nor poison your energy. Because if we're going to be positive influences in this world, we have to forgive ourselves. And that's been as for anybody on this soul searching journey, I know that's a huge part of it as well, is to actually forgive, honor, and respect yourself. So that's your deal with your sacral chakra. Solar plexus, location in the stomach. It is your first brain. You might hear people say, no, it's your second brain. No, it's your first brain. It is neurologically the first to develop. And this is your radar. This is where most people experience anxiety. and it's your interaction, your biofield interaction with the rest of the realm. We do not want to be shutting this down. That's your that's your alarm system, and teaching people how to understand it, excuse me, is on my list also. For I believe if we can educate, we can empower, we will see a lot less mental health issues going on. We will see a lot less depression, and therefore but we'd also see a lot more beings who are able to really fly in this space as opposed to be fearful of it. So the solar plexus deals with your willpower and is blocked by shame. Shame would have to be the lowest of the vibrations. So another genius plan, isn't it? If we can shame people, then we can block this energetic center. If we can block this energetic center, people are going to feel lost. They're going to feel lost because you can't sense, right? Or anything you sense is a threat. So you go into reactive mode as opposed to creativity. And remember, we're here to create our experience. So not to be on a defense all the time. So ask yourself, what are you ashamed of? What are your biggest mistakes? And nothing's ever a mistake. It's only a mistake if you don't learn from it, right? Everything is an experience. As I said before, we've signed up, we've contracted to come into this realm, into this experience, to provide experiences for each other and be thankful for those. So release any of your disappointments, release your letdowns, and accept and love all aspects of who you are, even your screw-ups. I only laugh because I've got a list. But you know, it's what makes us, so there we are. And so there is so much power in our words and our language as well. So if you can forgive, and my dear friend Tracy down in the most beautiful, glorious Marlborough Sounds taught me Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. So no matter what is happening, whether it's you're dealing with somebody at the moment who is frustrating or has hurt you, or you have let someone else down, or you've let yourself down, or whatever it is, try that prayer. Bring it into your heart and say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And repeat. There is power in words. Words are spelling. Thoughts are powerful as well. So thoughts are words, right? It's our language. So get into it. Let's look at unblocking the chakra system. So we've first of all got the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus, and those are the ones that are dealing with the physical body, right? Is that what I said before? Yeah. They help us engage with our physical or our external power. So if we move on to the next, the remaining chakras that are within the physical aspect of us, because there are more beyond, these ones are calibrated to the non-physical or the internal power. So if we move up, the heart chakra, the fourth chakra, and it is my favorite, one of, because it's through your heart space that you, if we can sense through our heart space, but you manifest through your heart space. You wish, that's where you wish through your heart space. So what does that even mean? It means being able to calibrate your brain frequencies with the coherence with the heart space as well. So remember, the heart field has its own neurological field. It has its own brain. And so if we can connect how we're feeling with how we're thinking, and then we can use breath is probably the easiest way to do it, and to visualize those vibrations of that sensation that you're feeling rippling out into the realm. This is how you can really connect the and learning into manifesting as well. So the heart space deals with love and is blocked by grief. You don't want your heart chakra blocked. You just don't. It shuts you down, and there's so much power. You hold so much power, divine power within. You want to have your heart space open. If it can be that outwardly you may be saying, yeah, no, I'm all good, I'm open to this and I'm open to that. If the energetic space is closed down, then you can't, that's actually the signal that overrides. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's bringing a lot of, I mention him all the time, he's one of my favorite mentors, and he is bringing the data, the quantifiable to what I'm speaking of. And he says that the most coherent system wins. All right, so it's a bit of training that goes on with it, and that's okay. It doesn't, when you start stepping into the space, it's not necessarily an easy thing to practice, but like anything, it gets easier. Hi, Marlene. How are you? I just saw you pop up there. Yay! All right, so back to the heart space. So ask yourself, because it deals with love and is blocked by grief. And so ask yourself, have you had a great loss? And from a physical manifestation, I have definitely seen, without a doubt, broken heart syndrome. And I've seen it appear physically in extreme scoliosis. And I've also seen it appear physically in terms of cardiovascular dis-ease. So you can figure out a million paces away what's happened in somebody's life based on the physical manifestation. Yeah, 100%. It's my gig, man. It's what I do. In fact, I will shout out to Tracy Richardson in the UK, a colleague of mine as well. She posted an amazing meme, and I think I've put it on my story, so check it out. And it basically is, how do I describe what I do for work? Well, really, it is, yes, it's dealing in this 3D world of the manifestation of physical dis-ease. But how I like to see my work in the area that I specialize in is bringing people through the matrix, I suppose, into this 5D, this higher vibrational way of being, because it's so much better than being down in 3D lane. Yeah, I do see you. See a lot of things, actually. Okay, back to the heart chakra. So if you've felt a great loss, and most have, let all of your grief out in front of you. Don't hold on to it. When we suppress emotions, particularly strong, emotionally charged emotions, when we suppress them, it will manifest physically, without a doubt. So let all the grief out, and remember that love is a form of energy, and it swirls, it is all around us, and that the love never leaves us. It doesn't leave this world. It's never lost, and whatever love that you have experienced before, whether you are experiencing love at the moment, in terms of romantic love, or if you've lost love, just remember it's never lost. It's always inside of your heart and able to be reborn in the form of a new love. Love is, I was going to say it's the highest vibration, however it's not. It is really the intentions of anything and everything we want to do, if we can place that in the intention of love, whether you're communicating with somebody via messaging or emailing, or whether you're what am I looking for? Or whether you're creating anything, food. What am I going to say? What am I trying to say? Anything that you are putting your energy into, be mindful of your state of being as you're doing it. So moving on to the fifth chakra, the throat chakra. Ooh, the sound chakra. It's in the throat, and it deals with truth and is blocked by lies. The lies we tell ourselves. So what truths are you not speaking for fear of disappointment? And this is really relevant at the moment, given there's so much divide in our world. What truths are you not stepping into because you're afraid of what someone might think of you? I might rattle on about the aliens in a minute, because that will become relevant in a minute. So the throat chakra deals with truth, blocked by lies. What truths are you not speaking? You cannot lie about your own nature. You must accept who you are. And in the work that over the last few years, something that's really become more evident for me is that those who are not walking in their own truth, this is where, or not speaking their own truth, this is where it manifests into energetic dysfunctions. The thyroid is located right here. And, in a conflict, I'll say it again, there's nothing more damaging than being somebody that you're not, or trying to be somebody for somebody else. So walk your own truth. Release any denials or any false beliefs about yourself, and speak your own truth, no matter what they're going to say. Those that are they say hurt people. So those that are in lower level vibrations, they're not on the same wavelength, so their opinion of you does not actually in fact matter. A lesson that took me a long time to learn. All right, so sixth chakra, the third eye, located right in the center of your forehead, the pineal gland. And when you look at it from an anatomical perspective, it's deep, deep, deep in the brain, probably located almost the dead center of the brain. And again, this is where we can access and get the insights to the realm, to what you can't see. It deals with insights and is blocked by illusion. And the greatest illusion that we have in the world is the illusion of separation. And it causes huge amounts of distress to people. And again, cunning plans are going on right now because when we divide, we can conquer. Not us, we're the lovers. We're the ones being divided at the moment. So when you think things are separate and different, that's when we lock, right? But when you start to realize that we're actually one and the same, we are one people, then you can see through the illusion of separation. And that's when we are going to ascend as a species and as humanity, and this is what the aliens are waiting for, right? So do a bit of research on that, and through those who have been communicating with, this is apparently what they are watching our species for. So so we need to be able to see beyond the illusion that is duality. And so release all illusions within yourself. We are one and the same. Open your mind and you'll see that all of the elements are one. That's what we call consciousness. We're all connected. We're connected through our energetic field. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can be transformed. So we just continue on. Seventh chakra, the crown chakra, it's located just above the head and deals with pure cosmic energy and is blocked by earthly attachments. And again, this is the trick. This is the trap that the system gets us into. It gets us hooked into 3D land, into believing we own something, or that by owning something we are more successful, therefore we're a better quality of human being, or any of that kind of nonsense, right? So you need to unblock your attachments to things or people, right? So you'll have complete, if you are blocked, and if it is blocked, then you tend to be a bit of a control freak. You might want to have control of your actions and your thoughts. Holding on to situations and trying to control all the time. So ask yourself, what attaches you to this world? What is your identity, your ego, defining ourselves by? So let all of those attachments go. Just let them go. If you were no longer here, they would remain. So it's not like you're taking anything with you. So release the attachments to it. Release and let go of all that you've learned to love as well. And that's a really scary place for a lot of people. And this is where we can truly unconditionally love people and set them free. So if we can let go of our attachments to love, and that what we've learned to love, then, and we can surrender ourselves and release all the earthly attachments as well, that's when you truly will be free. And realizing that in letting things go, it doesn't mean, as I said before, that they truly disappear, because they don't. They still exist. Just don't hold on to them so tightly. And then, once you've got all of those energetic centers free, you're able to connect with your higher self. So that's what I wanted to share about the chakras. So there are ways of knowing when your chakras are energetically blocked or overactive. Of course, everything is yin and yang, right? So they will manifest physical issues. So as I'd mentioned before, those with the blocked throat chakra will manifest with thyroid dysfunctions. Those is one example, for example. Those that are blocked in through the sacral chakra will have physiological manifestations through the gut, through the reproductive systems, things like that. So if you're having any, if you know that something's not right and you can't put your finger on it and nobody's been able to give you any answers, please hit me up. I do complimentary 15-minute Zoom consults, and there is a link somewhere for that. I can repost if you're interested, and we can have a chat. Right. How long have I been yarring on for? Should I go on to the aliens? Let me just find some notes. Wait a minute. You have to give me a thumbs up if you're wanting to know a little bit about the aliens that have been I'm not going to say obsessed, that's not the word. Very intrigued by. Of course, we know there's been a lot of UFO sightings, that there have been craft that have been found and located in parts of the States. We know there are areas where people are reporting being abducted, and there's a gentleman who speaks very freely, he's from Peru, about his contact with I think it's the Apunians, which are a type 3 civilization. I was also watching a doco recently on Gaia.com, it's one of my faves, and it was a fellow who ended quite high up in the military in the States, working in a research area. Let me see, what was it? New Mexico. I think it was New Mexico. And he started just taking samples of, non-human tissue, and then ended up working his way up through this facility, and then sampling off like whole beings. So he also speaks of his experience. Again, you're going to be naive to think nothing else exists out there. So let's start talking about it. Bring it on. I want to know what they know. Okay, hang on a second. I've got some 5 minutes. Lordy, how Lord knows I don't have time to do anything else around here. Hold on, please. Just stay with me. Here we go. All right. You ready for it? So if you want to dig deeper into this and look at where I've pulled off this information, again, go to Gaia.com, and there's a series called Cosmic Disclosure, and it's all laid out there for you. So according to this gentleman, this man from Peru, who has contact and has regular contact with this civilization, as I mentioned, called the Apunians, the question is asked is, why is Earth so important to the aliens? And so apparently Earth is important to extraterrestrials who visit us, because it's like a world school. We're apparently like a test planet. It's a place of learning, and a planet that's connected to ancient stories with extraterrestrial origins. And they're super interested in it because everything we experience here also impacts, we are one, as I just said before, so it impacts every other being in our universe. And there are billions and billions and billions of galaxies, and within each galaxy there are billions of planets as well. So get your head around that one. And so our experience in this realm, Earth, is connected and related to them. And so everything we can learn on this planet has an effect on cosmic knowledge. So it is believed that as a child in this universe, there are 3 main levels of consciousness, and that once we achieve individual consciousness, like consciousness within ourselves as a human being, then we ascend to and acquire the next level, another level of consciousness of the Earth, and it's of the planet of where we live. And when we understand how to learn in harmony with the planet, which Lord knows we are far from, but once we can master that and all the resources that our planet has to offer, then we can ascend to the next level of consciousness. So yeah, I'll go into that in a second. You still with me? All right, so our consciousness should be reflected in the way that we behave with the planet and how we administer the resources here on the planet. And it's what the ancient Peruvian people call the consciousness of Mother Earth. So the solar consciousness is the next level of consciousness. So we were saying there's 3 different levels of consciousness. And it's knowledge and contact and balance with our planet. But it also links the consciousness with the star and maintains balance in that solar system. And so our sun radiates out knowledge. Another clever, little plan that is sold to us is, the sun does damage. No. We need the sun, and we need the light codes that it sends through. So get yourself out in the sunshine, and soak in those light codes, particularly first thing in the morning. It's super important that you're getting that really strong UV light hitting the retina, because it does trigger a lot of processes in the body. Of course, you're not going to go glare into the sun. That's not what I'm saying. Common sense. But just know that the sun contains all sorts of information for us. So let's see. Where am I at? Hopefully I'm not going to overlap here. So wait a second. So second level of consciousness, and then where's the next level of consciousness? Gosh, have I lost that page? I'll have to find that one for you. Anyhow, so carry on. So the solar consciousness is spoken of by the Egyptians and the Incas as well. So ancient ways and ancient people, ancient beings, civilizations spoke of the solar consciousness and worshiped the sun, right? So our solar system is pretty unique, and also why we are so of interest to the extraterrestrials, because it only has one star. It only has one sun, which is a yellow dwarf, and most solar systems in the galaxy have 2 or 3 stars. So solar consciousness is about connecting to the energy of our sun, and once we have reached consciousness of ourselves and our planets and our connection to the sun, we can move to the next state. Aha! There, I knew it was coming. And that's the galactic state. Or how then we can, connect to the nucleus of the galaxy. So this is what I believe is happening in our world at the moment. And humanity, we're trying to raise the consciousness. Everyone's going, well, why? Why do we want to raise consciousness? Not just so that we can have a better experience here, but so that we can connect and ascend to that next level, that next state of being. And that's when all of the rest of the whatever exists out there is going to be made available to us. So there was a Soviet astrophysicist, last name Kardashev, and he developed this scale, the Kardashev scale, and it's used to measure what type of extraterrestrial civilizations may exist, theoretically, of course. Now, I did bring up his scale. Hold on, it's on Wiki. And it basically describes, there's 3 designated categories. And type 1 civilization is planetary civilization, and it's where we can use and store all of the energy available on the planet. Well, we're not quite there. Humans are not even at a type 1 level yet. We've got a ways to go. I think this is what the other civilizations out there are watching with interest, is are we going to use in this crisis, what's going on right now, and rise above it and become one as humanity, and then really learn to live in harmony with the planet and with our sun. Because if we can get to there, then we can start accessing, a higher level of beings as a civilization. So this type 2 civilization is called a stellar civilization, and it's where you can use and control energy at the scale of the planetary system. So remember I was saying most extraterrestrials, or the aliens out there, civilizations, are believed to be type 3 and type 4. So a type 3 civilization is a galactic civilization. It just brings me so much joy, I don't know why. And it's where they can control energy at the scale of its entire host galaxy. So man, us humans, we've got a long way to go, right? And Kardashev believed that type 4 civilization, he believed was impossible. this fella from Peru who apparently has contact with this extraterrestrial civilizations, he says, yeah, there's type 3 and type 4 civilizations totally that exist out in the cosmos. So apparently and it goes on further to say new types of civilizations 4, 5, and 6 have been proposed. So there you go. There's some science behind it. Right, so the extraterrestrials operating in our reality are type 3 or type 4. And as I mentioned a moment ago, in our world, humanity has to do the work to raise consciousness, and these extraterrestrials, civilizations out there that are interested in and that watch over us, they can't do it for us. So they say. Apparently they've tried in the past and it made a big screw up, and so they're like backing off. So, and it's important to understand that not everything that is in science fiction is fiction. So, goes on. So it's talking about how there have been crafts that have been found. And of course, the government, the US government in particular, has not long ago released a lot of documents on that. Of course, we know Area 51. And so on and so on. Wonder why Israel is under attack at the moment. Well, is it Mount Hermon there? Apparently that is quite a strong portal. So who knows what's going on, right? Anyhow, these crashes and these crafts that have been found that are non-human objects have not been shot down by human ways, and apparently Barack Obama was speaking of along these lines on somebody's talk show. Oh, I forget who it was. Anyway, the talk is out there, so this is nothing new, right? And so these crashes of these crafts are believed to have been because our planet, being the test planet that we are in the cosmos, one of the test planets, the only one with the one star. There are other test planets apparently that they emit a blue aura, so they're like blue planets like our Earth, but they have 2 or 3 stars where we only have one. So that's why they're really interested in ours, and they're also interested apparently in the water that we have on our planet. Apparently is particularly special. So anyway, I've digressed. So they believe that apparently the craft that have been found on Earth are because there was a intergalactic thing going on, battle going on, that we as humans unknowingly had something to do with. So when Newton, Lordy, was it Einstein? I forget which one. Anyway, when the atom was split, when they split the atom, apparently it was a very, very dangerous thing to do. And that ricocheted out, as it would, because remember, everything is connected. And when you're a more intelligent and more advanced civilization, it's not just in your ability to think, it's in your ability to sense and to access all of the energies, right? So they would most definitely sense something like the splitting the atom. And And apparently that sent out a signal all the way into the depths of the cosmos and got the attention of various different civilizations. And the story goes is that they came to Earth to see what on Earth was going on, and because that had the potential to really create a big problem. And apparently Earth itself is quarantined by a friendly, fraternal type of extraterrestrials, and that they were kind of guarding us, I suppose, guarding us from other civilizations, but also we're not ready to access some of the technology that's available yet. So they're kind of protecting us as well from us, from the outside, and from the outside from us, is what I'm trying to say. So, and so these beings came to see what was going on here on Earth, and apparently there was a war or a battle. Much to get your head around, really, but nothing's impossible, is it? And so that's apparently where these craft that ended up falling out of the sky and into Earth, where they've come from. And so they've all been examined, right? Yeah, so there's the group that's quarantining Earth is an extraterrestrial group with fraternal intentions, and yeah, they're just sort of watching over us and hoping that we get our shit together and we can actually get along as a civilization. It also dismisses any theories that perhaps, you know, any military or government organizations have got treaties and agreements with extraterrestrials, because they take one look at us as humans and go, man, you guys don't even get along with yourself. You don't even uphold your own treaties and agreements with each other. So why would they engage with treaties with us? Yeah, they're a lot smarter than us, I'd say. Anyhow, what else was I going to say about the ETs? So the reason of the quarantining, as I said, is so that other beings would not be able to intervene, so that so that we as humans can culminate our process through our own merit as a species. So it comes back to, again, us being able to understand and to rise above, to realize what divine beings we are, that we're here having an experience, that the world as we know it is an illusion. If we can see beyond the illusion, we can start helping people raise their vibration. We're saying this all the time. What does it even really mean? Raise your vibration so that we can then have experience better things. You can't, like, think about the low vibrational energies. As I talked before, shame, guilt, frustration, greed, corruption. Those are all low vibrations. If we as humanity, if you as your individual can understand how to align your energetic centers, if you can figure out how to connect your Wi-Fi to your higher self, to the divine infinite being that you are, then we can all realize there is nothing to fear and that there is abundance for everybody. So individually we need to do that. And no matter what's happening in your world today, or, I mean, that's the only thing you can actually be in control of, is the present moment. So no matter what it is, like to be able to get the ego out of the way and to observe, get out of fight, flight, fright, and to observe what's happening and go, yeah, that's curious. And what's my state of being at the moment? Am I contributing to that in any way? And if we can then rise above through being more aware, then you can change your reality. And if you can change your reality, and if we each can change our reality, then humanity can collectively change reality. People say to me, yeah, okay, you know, it's all good in theory and everything, but what can we do about, you know, how do we break out of the system? How do we get out of these illegal corporations that are running the show? That is another Facebook Live as well. Like, how can we come back to the sovereign beings that we are? Do no harm. If you aren't doing anything wrong, you know, the first universal law is do no harm. So if we can raise as humanity, we can start accessing these the power that earth, the power that's the sun, the power of the cosmos as well, can only be good for us, right? I think I'm done. Yeah. I think that's all I've got to say today. It's a bit heavy. If you jumped on at the end of it, I do talk about chakras from a very, very, very easy to understand perspective. And I can always go more in depth into that as well. But, you know, there's no sense in what am I trying to say here? It's time that we all start to realize the power we have inside and the power that we all hold to change our own trajectory. And even those that are on the path of restoring from some very chronic dysfunction from a electrical perspective, because remember, you're just a biofield, and it's the physical manifestation of those electrical systems and electrical signals that have been damaged or weakened or broken for too long. If you are trying to restore from a physical dis-ease, remember, we can outsource insights, we can outsource support, but what you cannot outsource is the fact that you actually, in fact, hold the power. So, whatever you're going through out there, know it will all pass. And align yourself and stay in your own lane. Don't let anybody suck your energy fields dry. Yeah. Okay, gotta go. I really do have other things to do. Much love. Mwah. Peace. Have a great day.